Okay, got it.
Odmutujcie.
Okay, so anybody have any questions? So what I'm going to do while you're thinking of some questions, I'll throw in some other things that, questions that people have already asked in previous calls. First of all, the picture taking, after I got started doing the Zoom training, someone asked if they could take the picture. And I said, sure. And then they asked if they could post it on their Facebook. And I said, sure, that's fine, just as long as you don't mention a company or product, because we want to stay neutral. Well, see, what happened there is that these people started posting it, and they, unbelievable, how they described what I do to help them and so forth. And Adriana, she's just a pro at this. She's been awesome. In fact, it got to the point where she said that if you want to have a training with Don Failla, the legend, and just went off on that contact me and I'll help organize it for you or set it up for you. But we've discovered there was a lot of people that, for whatever reason, that they're afraid to call me, so they call Adriana. But see, what happens there is that, say this person has like 2,000 to 4,000 people on their Facebook. Well, they've been in network marketing for a long time. Boy, a lot of those people did not make it because they didn't like sales. They couldn't do sales, and that just doesn't work, and so forth. So, by letting them know that, they found the right way to do the business, you'd be amazed. In fact, out of 2,000 to 4,000 people, these people might have 20 to 30% of those people have already read my book. Okay. So by reaching out to them, and I use this, I call it the apologetic approach. Okay. These people, you've tried the business several times, didn't make it. Go to them and just tell them, look, I want to make an apology to you. Because see, when I told you about network marketing, I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. And I approached it, and we tried to do it all wrong. The biggest industry in the world where the blind are leading the blind. Okay. I had the opportunity to be on a Zoom training with Don Failla, and he taught me the proper way to do the business. And when you understand it, anybody can do it. And I'd really like the opportunity to show you what we're doing now, because by my doing it wrong to you, that kind of interfered with the possibility of you owning your life. And I'm sorry I did that. So just use the apologetic approach. I mean, it's amazing how that'll work. Any questions? Okay, now another thing kind of important, because we don't look for people that are into health, because that's a small market, okay? All we want to do is talk to people that own their life. So when we get ready for the vehicle, you've got to remember that all businesses have overhead. Traditional business, they have brick and mortar, inventories, employees, payroll. That's overhead. In network marketing, your basic overhead is you have to make a purchase of a product each month to qualify to get paid. Okay. If you don't make the purchase, you don't get paid. So when we get to that point, our company has a lot of products. Okay. And the more products you have, let me tell you, the more problem you got, because the more the new people, if they think they're selling it, think they got to learn about all those products before they can even talk to someone. We start somebody with one. That's it. One product. But see, when we start them, we explain to them, about the overhead, that's their overhead to be able to get paid. But see, they're not buying the product for the overhead for the product because they want the product. They're buying it because they want to own their life. Now remember, they've never been in a health food store, never taken a health product in their life. After a week to 10 days, they're coming to you They come to me and they're saying how great the product is, how much energy they have. They haven't been regular in years or whatever. Okay, they're excited about it. Now, if they didn't go on auto ship, most company have it where you get the products automatically same time every month. If they didn't go on the auto ship and they forget to order the product and they're out of the product for a week to 10 days, the experience they have when they go off the product is greater than when they went on the product. That's why I've got people that are not building a business that have been with me for 25 years. They order every month. Now, once they start getting excited about the product, a lot of companies have a catalog that you get with your order. If they don't have that, it's all on the computer and so forth. People start looking through the catalog. You know, they get to the point where they're making more money and they start seeing these different products and so forth. And they're saying, gee, I've got to try this. I've got to try that. I've got to try that and so forth. They are literally selling themselves. We never have to sell anybody. Okay. So that's important. Now, another thing too, there's a thing called FOMO, FOMO, and that stands for fear of missing out. Okay, now when you don't have that if you're just selling products and you're not going in depth. So you're building a downline and you got people in your downline that are ordering products, right? Well, you're not getting paid if you don't order. So that's fear of missing out. The people will go ahead and order. Okay, now, what I'm going to tell you now is going to save you a lot of money. People in our industry are going out spending thousands of dollars to listen to these motivational speakers. They don't teach anything. They just motivate you. Nothing about how to build a business. And if they were building, if they really understood it and believed it, why aren't they doing it themselves? Okay. So you sit there for 2-3 days, you spend all this money, and they've really accomplished one thing. They got you motivated to come back to another deal, spend more money. Okay. What we call those hot baths. You get out of a hot bath, you cool off. Okay. What I'm going to tell you right now is it'll motivate you more than anything, and it doesn't cost anything because that's when you duplicate. Okay. You have, you know, you get a leg down 3, 4, 5 levels deep. You wake up in the morning, you look at your computer and you see you have a new person in your down. You are motivated. There's nothing will motivate you more than that. I mean, I get up in the morning, you know, and I look at the computer and I see, this doesn't count weekends, but I average over 600 people a day coming into the business. I'm motivated. Okay. It didn't start with 600, it started with 1, you know, so maybe you get 1 a week. You're excited. Okay. Then all of a sudden those people start bringing people, and all of a sudden you're getting 2 a week and then 3 a week. So that motivates you. I mean, you know, my organization, you know, is huge. I mean, I get 350,000 people on auto ship, you know, in Germany. And what motivates them? I'm 7,000 miles away. I taught them to duplicate because they've all read my book and they understand network marketing. So that's something that you know is really good to know. Most people never think about that. Question. Somebody's got to have a question.
I have question. How do you think? What is the most successful thing in doing this MLM? Marketing plan, company, or sponsor, or innovative products? What is the most important part?
Well, I personally think, yeah, you have to have a company that's going to stay in business, number one. Okay. And a lot of people think when they get started in a brand new startup company, that's where you got to be. But such a high percentage of don't even make it past 1-2 years. So you don't want to do that. But I think it's really important to have a sponsor that knows what they're doing. I mean, you know, like I said, you know, it's the biggest industry in the world where the blind are leading the blind. I mean, give you an example. You go to a training class and this person's up there telling you that first thing you got to do is make a list of 100 names. That's not network marketing, that's sales. You don't need 100 names to sponsor one person because that starts with 1. Okay. And, you know, if you really feel like you need a list of names, write down 5 names of your friends that you would like to see them own their life so they can go on a cruise with you next year. Or there's another too example is like you might be driving around in a neighborhood you hadn't been in a long time. And because you're there, it kind of reminds you of someone you know there. Well, you might want to write that down so you get in touch with them. But when you call these people you haven't seen for 3 or 4 years, don't call them up and just start banging on their head about getting into a program. Reconnect with the people. Real simple. I think having a sponsor is probably number one. And of course, you have to have a good company.
Thank you. Because a lot of people are telling that, you will not go anywhere in the company if you don't have very unique products in the company, but it's an approach of selling, yes?
Whatever the company's products or service, they've got to work, okay? And, whether they're unique or not, the way we're doing the business, it's not all that important, really, because they're getting the products because they want to own their life, and then, of course, if they start taking them and they're not, working for them, that might discourage them a little bit. So anyway, I had another question people have is, what my number one recommendation is for a new person. And I tell them to get a job, okay? Because there isn't a company in the world I know of that you can start off in your first month, make enough money to pay your mortgage, your car payment, credit cards, put braces on your kids' teeth, put food on the table. You can't do it, okay? You can make a little bit of money, but the only way you can do that, getting started, of course, you sell your products. And that's how you make a little money. But so you got to remember when you're selling your products, you're doing zero to contribute to the foundation of putting up the big building. So that doesn't help you. So you need a job, okay? Now, there's two conditions where you wouldn't need the job, okay? My spouse, Nancy, she supported our family for 7 years. Now, we didn't have technology back then, so it took 7 years to figure all this out. So that's one reason you don't need a job. And the other one is if you, what is I'm thinking about here?
You have savings.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have enough money in the bank to live uncomfortably for 2-3 years while you're getting started with the foundation. See, these people go out there and try to tell you you're going to get rich in 3 to 6 months. It doesn't work. I'll tell you something most people don't know. All the companies in the world in network marketing, the worst one in the world is Mexico. You know why? If they're not getting rich, like in 3 to 6 months, they're on to the next program. They just don't duplicate, period. And another thing too, the whole culture is sales. I mean, if you haven't been to Mexico, off a cruise on all the ports and stuff, all the street corners are 6-year-olds selling chiclets. You go to the New York World's Fair, the whole pavilion in there is all around sales, and it's tough. I mean, I've been terribly disappointed in the past by working, with people in Mexico. Now, Mexicans in America, that's a different story, and there's 40 million in America. More of one. Hey, the way with the border being open the way it is, we're getting a couple million every month. Every year.
How do you check, or how do I know that the person that I show the book and he read it, that he really understands already this system, and I can show him the vehicle?
Well, bottom line, people, when they get started in the business, we have the napkin presentation that shows you that the people that you bring in are either gold ships, silver ships, or empty ships. And the people who are the gold ships, they're calling you all the time. They got questions and they're excited and they want to introduce you to their friends and, and stuff like that. Silver ships, they don't call you too much, but when you call them, they'll return the call. The empty ships, they don't call you. When you call them, you're lucky if they return the call. But see, the problem, because people don't understand it, they end up spending most of their time with the empty ship because they're trying to help them. And what happens, those ships go down and they go down with them. You spend most of your time with the gold ship, okay? And then you work to help elevate the silver ships. But you can tell pretty quick if the person's, you know, once they've gone through the system, like for example, you know, not only reading the 5 chapters, you know, but then they're going to get the book when they get the app and read the whole book, read it several times. Our publisher in Australia told me one time he read the book 10 times, and every time he read it, he learned something new. That's why we encourage people to come back to these Zoom trainings every week. My presentation does not vary a half of 1% from one week to the next. But then we have the Q&As. The Q&As, they can be different. A lot of different things come up.
So,
One thing I notice I like about being translated, because when you're translating, I can take a sip of water.
okay, so now drink the water and I will ask you a question, next one. What do you recommend for sponsor when somebody telling you that I still don't understand the book? The sponsor should, I don't know, explain the book page by page, or should tell him read it once again, or what do you recommend?
I just, I tell them to read it again, read it 2 or 3 times. Plus now with the app, you know, see these Zoom trainings we're doing now, you know, because we do so many of them, we're recording them, we're going to pick the best ones. So when you go into the app, you're going to be a section there where you can pick out a Zoom training that you'd like to send to somebody. You know, we'll have several in Polish, we'll have several in German, you know, the different languages and so forth. And let me tell you, you know, by the time a person listens to the Zoom training 2 or 3 times, my presentation and the quick Q&As afterwards, they'll get it. I mean, we're getting some amazing testimonies. The last one we did, we had 3 different people that have been on several times that spoke up, because not only just people asking questions, people are doing testimonies. In fact, that's what we don't have on the app right now, are testimonies, but that's going to come to the app. And these will be 2 to 3 minute testimonies where people who'd been doing it backwards for doesn't matter how long, now discovered the right way to do it and how well it's going. Like that gal, just the other day, I think it was yesterday, she said that she had 4 people in 1 week. I mean, really excited. So you get people listening to that. So that's why you don't really have to, all you have to know is ask someone if they want to own their life, and then let the tools do the talking so anybody can do it. You get that market of, like I said, 100%. Another one I always like to tell about is that you train your mind for success when you go to bed at night. And in Australia, we have fun with this because we tell the people down there that before they go to sleep, they don't have to count 60 million sheep. Okay, just put your head on the pillow and say, I'm going to make a friend. I'm going to meet their friends. I'm going to make a friend. I'm going to meet their friends. You do that till you go to sleep. Your mind is, for 1 week, say, your mind is totally programmed for what you need to do to be successful. Now, to give you an idea that duplication, you know, works, I met Adriana in April on Facebook, right? 1 person. Okay, I would estimate right now I've got over 2,000 people that have friended me now from being on these different calls. I met her friends and then meeting their friends, and people are putting out posts on their Facebook, and then those people want to be friends, and now they're coming to the Zoom training. So the whole thing is exploding. Once we get that new app up, the new app, I'm expecting it within 4 months, we'll have it in Polish, German, Italian, and Romanian. And we already have people working on Chinese and Japanese. So, you know, this thing's going to go really crazy. Another thing I'd like to kind of remind you here, how much information did you just get? Everything you'd ever need really to know to build your business, right? In less than like an hour, okay? the actual part of teaching what you do, that takes 10 minutes. 12 minutes maybe max. I keep reminding people that anybody can do it if you learn to use the tools. Let the tools do the talking.
Yeah.
See what it's like when you have the app. It's like you have myself, you have Jeff, you have Dr. Steve Hines, and now Adriana, okay? If you get the Polish Zoom training and so forth. And I'm sure she'll be on the app doing some of the actual work on the translating on the app, so forth. So it's like you have us in the palm of your hands anytime you want to use us, okay? Now, the app's going to cost $20 a month. Now, think about this, talking about overhead. Show me a business in the world, anywhere, where you could have like, a $20 overhead and make millions, okay? Nothing out there like that.
This is really easy to send anything from the app to people, and they have that directly into the mobiles.
So, any questions?
Everybody
doing,
knows everything.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? Matt's muted.
Możesz, Krzysiek, odmutować?
Listen and learn more.
Listen.
Learn more.
Yeah.
So you gotta get your people on there. I had a call from a guy in Italy 2 days ago, and the guy, he could understand. See, most people that speak a little bit of English, they understand more. Okay. Well, I had a nice conversation with this guy. 11,000 people in his downline. He's been using my book for years anyway already. I was telling him about the app and so forth and the Zoom calls. So we're going to schedule 2 Zoom calls with just this is neutral here. We don't talk about any companies or products, but if people have a large group and they want to have a special call just for their people, we'll do that. So I'm going to do 2 calls for this guy, one in English for all the people that understand English, and another one with a professional translator to do it in Italian. Okay, we already have a recording of Italian translation that I did with 200 people. If anybody, needs that right away, I'll send that out to them. But more than happy to do that for the guy. So then he's got them recorded and he can start using them with his group. And those 11,000 people, in 6 months, he'll turn them into 50 and 100,000. So all you got to remember, we're here like working for you, and this all came about because my wife passed away and I'd never been on Facebook before. And one night, a couple months after she passed, it's a little boring, you've been married for 56 years, you're by yourself, get, lonely and bored and so forth. So I discovered Facebook. I started playing around with it. Now I'm talking to people all day and all night. In fact, with the time difference last night, I had like 3 different people I had chats with between 12 and 2 o'clock in the morning, my time, that wanted to get a link to get on the Zoom trainings. So got plenty to do. And I'm having fun doing it. And I like helping people. And, we don't charge for these trainings.
This is real sponsoring because otherwise it's not sponsoring yet. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, maybe we can finish this meeting and invite you for the next week.
Yeah, and remember, like on Friday and Wednesday, we do the training again, okay? And that's translated into Polish. Well, I'm telling people that if they don't want to wait till the English, I'm English, you know, on Friday and Wednesday. And when it's being translated, you can take notes. But Adriana, she translates so fast, you'll be amazed how quick it goes. I mean, I've been translated like in 35 different countries. I tell you, the worst country in the world to be translated is Indonesia. Look at my hands. You translate this, you say this long, okay? The translation is this long, okay?
Oh, my.
And the people who are not professionals, they can't handle more than like, you know, one sentence at a time, okay? And Adriana, she handles paragraphs. In fact, she's gotten so good that when I do the training on why you can do in 3 to 5 years, we don't have to translate that. She just does that, you know, in Polish without translation. So several other things she does. Sometimes she gets ahead of me.
Sorry.
I start to talk. She says, "Oh, I already said that."
But what I want to also mention on Tuesday next week, we will have a Zoom meeting with Jeff Romualdi. And I will invite you for that meeting. It will be translated into Polish. However, if you are English, you can understand it also as well. So at our time in Poland, it's 8 p.m. So in US, in California, it is, what is the time? 11, yes? 11 a.m. Yeah. So I invite you for that meeting to the same link and the time, as I said, I have the post on my profile, so you can check it.
See, when you get your guests, you know, people that come on to the Zoom training and they listen to my presentation, then the Q&As and the testimonies and so forth. I mean, we're having fun, okay? And, you know, a lot of times, I mean, like maybe by 11 o'clock, we start at 9:30. By 11, I've got to get onto another call. So I'm off the call on these Polish calls, and Adriana, she just takes over. And, you know, I'll check an hour later, I'll call her and she's still on the call. I mean, these people are having so much fun just, you know, sharing and stuff.
Almost 6 hours last call.
Wow. Wow.
Can you imagine this 6 hours? Everybody were listening like, wow.
That's good. Well, we'll see you guys next time around. You guys have a great weekend coming up.
Same to you.
Thank you very much, Don.
Thank you. Thank you, Don.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys later.
Yeah, and thank you, Adriana. It was very nice.
Thank you for being here. All of
Thank
them.
you.
Thank you, everyone, and
Thank
take
you for
care.
translating.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.